Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the USS Vengeance. He looked out at the stars through the big window. His face showed the weight of 30 years of working with aliens. His gray hair and tired eyes told the story of a man who had spent his life trying to make peace between humans and the rest of the galaxy. The Galactic Council was the most powerful group in space. They controlled hundreds of worlds and thousands of different alien species. For 30 years, Earth had been trying to join them. Humans had given them technology, opened their borders, and sent their best people to work on alien space stations. They had done everything the Council asked. Captain Lisa Martinez walked up to the Admiral. She had been his friend and second in command for 15 years. Her face was worried. She carried a datapad in her hands. "Admiral, we picked up some messages from the Zephyrian embassy," she said. "They are talking about something called Project Cleansing." Morrison took the datapad and read the messages. His face went pale. The messages were between high-ranking council members. They were not meant for human eyes. The first message was from Supreme Commander Vex of the Zephyrian Fleet. It read, "Phase 1 is complete. We have learned everything we need to know about human military power. Their weapons are primitive, but their tactics are interesting. They adapt quickly to new situations." The second message was from Chancellor Crix of the Corvani Republic. "Our scientists have finished studying human biology. They are physically weak compared to most species, but they have strong minds. They never give up, even when they should. This makes them dangerous." The third message made Morrison's blood run cold. It was from High Counselor Neth of the Nexus Empire. "Project Cleansing will begin in 7 days. All human colonies will be destroyed at the same time. We will tell the galaxy that humans attacked us first. No one will question our right to defend ourselves." Morrison handed the datapad back to Martinez. "How did we get these messages?" "Dr. Richard Kane sent them," Martinez said. "He is our scientist on the Council's main space station. He managed to hack into their communication system before they caught him." Dr. Kane had been Earth's lead alien expert. He had spent 5 years living with the Council, studying their culture and science. The Council had welcomed him as a sign of friendship between species. Now, Morrison understood it had all been a lie. "Is Dr. Kane still alive?" Morrison asked. "We don't know," Martinez said. "His last message was sent 3 hours ago. He said he was going to try to escape, but the station is full of Council security forces." Morrison walked to the communication station. Lieutenant Ben Phillips was the ship's communication officer. He was young, but very skilled at his job. "Phillips, get me a secure line to Earth Command," Morrison ordered. "Yes, sir," Phillips said. His fingers moved quickly over the controls. "Connection established, Admiral." The screen showed General Paul Stevens, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was sitting in the Pentagon's war room. President Catherine Brooks was with him. Both looked tired and worried. "Admiral Morrison," the president said, "we have been waiting for your report. The Council has called an emergency meeting. They want all human representatives to attend." "It's a trap, Madam President," Morrison said. "I am sending you the intercepted messages now. The Council plans to destroy all human colonies in 7 days. They call it Project Cleansing." President Brooks read the messages on her screen. Her face went white. "Are you sure these are real?" "Dr. Kane risked his life to get them to us." Morrison said, "I believe they are real. The Council has been studying us for 30 years. They know everything about our military, our technology, and our weaknesses." General Stevens leaned forward. "Admiral, how many Council ships are in your area?" "Long-range sensors show at least 200 ships," Morrison said. "Zephyrian dreadnoughts, Corvani battle cruisers, and Nexus carriers. They have enough firepower to destroy a solar system." "We need to warn our colonies," President Brooks said. "There is no time," Morrison said. "The Council controls all communication networks in this sector. Any message we send will be intercepted. Our colonies will be destroyed before they can prepare." Commander Alex Turner, Earth's intelligence chief, had been listening to the conversation. He stepped forward. "Admiral, we have been preparing for This possibility, not everyone trusted the Council. Morrison looked surprised. What do you mean? For the past 20 years, we have been developing secret weapons and strategies, Turner said. Projects so classified that even our diplomats didn't know about them. If the Council wants a war, we will give them one they will never forget. Dr. Elizabeth Ford appeared on the screen. She was the head of Earth's Advanced Weapons Research Division. Her laboratory was hidden deep underground in Colorado. Admiral, we have been working on something special. The Council thinks they know everything about human technology. They are wrong. What kind of weapons? Morrison asked. Weapons that can destroy entire fleets, Dr. Ford said. Weapons that can make stars explode. Weapons that will make the Council wish they had never heard of Earth. President Brooks looked at her advisors. How long do we have? 6 days, Morrison said. Maybe less. Then we use the time we have, President Brooks said. Admiral Morrison, you are to return to Earth immediately. All human ships are to come home. We will not fight the Council on their terms. What about our people on Council worlds? Morrison asked. They knew the risks when they volunteered, General Stevens said. We cannot save them, but we can make sure their sacrifice means something, Morrison understood. The Council had spent 30 years learning about humans. They thought they knew everything about Earth's military power. They had studied human ships, human weapons, and human tactics. They believed humans were weak and easy to defeat, but the Council had made one mistake. They had only seen what Earth wanted them to see. The real weapons, the real strategies, and the real power of humanity had been hidden away. The Council was about to learn that humans were not the primitive species they thought they were. Captain Martinez looked at the Admiral. Sir, what are your orders? Set course for Earth, maximum speed, Morrison said. And send a message to all human ships. Tell them to come home. Tell them the Council has shown their true face. Tell them it's time to show the galaxy what humans can really do. As the USS Vengeance turned toward Earth, Morrison thought about the last 30 years. Humans had tried to be peaceful. They had tried to be friends with the aliens. They had shared their knowledge and their resources. They had trusted the Council to treat them fairly, but the Council had betrayed that trust. They had used the time to study human weaknesses. They had planned to destroy every human world and claim it. With self-defense. They thought humans were too weak and too few to fight back. The Council was about to learn they were wrong. Humans had survived ice ages, wars, plagues, and disasters. They had spread across their solar system and then to the stars. They had never given up, no matter how bad things got. Now the Council wanted to destroy them. They thought it would be easy. They thought humans would beg for mercy. They thought wrong. Morrison looked at the stars ahead. Somewhere out there, Council fleets were moving toward human worlds. In 6 days, they would attack. They expected to win easily, but Earth was ready. Humanity was ready. The Council had betrayed them, but they had also given humans the greatest gift possible. They had given them a reason to fight with everything they had. The war was coming, and when it was over, the galaxy would never be the same. The attack came during what should have been humanity's greatest day. The Council had called it the Ceremony of Full Acceptance. Human representatives from across the galaxy had gathered at the main Council station to celebrate. Earth was finally going to become a full member of the Galactic Council. Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the observation deck of the USS Vengeance, watching the ceremony through the large windows. The Council station was massive, bigger than any human city. Thousands of ships surrounded it, representing hundreds of alien species. It was supposed to be a day of peace and friendship. Captain Lisa Martinez was monitoring communications from the bridge. Her voice came through Morrison's earpiece. Admiral, I'm picking up strange signals from the Council fleets. They're moving into attack formation. Morrison grabbed his communicator. Are you sure? Yes, sir. All Council ships are powering up their weapons. Something is very wrong. Before Morrison could respond, the first explosions lit up space. Council ships opened fire on the human delegation vessels. The small transport ships carrying human diplomats had no weapons and no shields. They were destroyed in seconds. "All human ships, this is Admiral Morrison," he shouted into his communicator. "We are under attack." "Repeat, we are under attack." All ships engage evasive maneuvers immediately. The USS Vengeance's alarms began screaming. Captain Martinez's voice filled the ship. "All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. We are under attack by Council forces." Morrison ran to the bridge. Through the main screen, he could see the Council station's defense guns turning toward human ships. The massive weapons were designed to destroy entire fleets. The humans were outnumbered and outgunned. "Martinez, get us out of here," Morrison ordered. "Working on it, sir," she replied. Her hands moved quickly over the controls. "But they have us surrounded. Every jump point is blocked by Council ships." Lieutenant Ben Phillips was at the communications station. His face was pale. "Admiral, I'm getting reports from all over the galaxy. Human colonies are under attack. New Angeles, Haven Station, the mining bases on Kepler 442b, they're all being hit at the same time." Morrison felt his heart sink. The Council had planned this perfectly, while humans were celebrating. At the ceremony, Council fleets had moved to attack every human world. It was a coordinated strike designed to destroy humanity in a single day. "Sir, incoming message from Earth," Phillips said. President Catherine Brooks appeared on the screen. She was in the White House Situation Room. General Paul Stevens was beside her. Both looked terrified. "Admiral Morrison, thank God you're alive," the president said. "We're getting reports of attacks on all human colonies. How many ships do you have?" 57 ships, Madam President," Morrison said. "But we're surrounded by over 200 Council vessels. They have us trapped." "Sir, I have Captain Ryan Murphy on the line," Phillips said. "He's commanding the 3rd Fleet near the outer colonies." Murphy's face appeared on a smaller screen. His ship was badly damaged. Smoke filled his bridge. "Admiral, we're taking heavy casualties. The Council knew exactly where to hit us. They've been planning this for years." "What's your situation, Captain?" Morrison asked. "We've lost 30% of our ships," Murphy said. "The Council has some kind of new weapon. It cuts through our shields like they're not there. We can't fight them with conventional tactics." Morrison looked at the tactical display. Red dots showed Council ships. Blue dots showed human ships. There were 10 red dots for every blue one. The situation was hopeless. "Admiral, we're getting a transmission from the Council station." Phillips said. Supreme Commander Vex of the Zephyrian Fleet appeared on the main screen. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and black eyes. His voice was cold and emotionless. "Admiral Morrison, I am Supreme Commander Vex. You will surrender your ships immediately. Any resistance will result in the complete destruction of your fleet." "Why?" Morrison asked. "We trusted you. We were your allies." "You were never our allies," Vex said. "You were subjects being studied. We have learned everything we need to know about human military capabilities. You are primitive and weak. Your species has no place in the galaxy. What about the ceremony? What about our acceptance into the Council?" "A trap," Vex said. "We needed to gather all human representatives in one place. It made it easier to eliminate them. Your diplomats are already dead. Your colonies are burning. Surrender now, and some of your species may survive as slaves." Morrison felt anger burning in his chest. "You bastards. We trusted you." "Trust is weakness," Vex said. "The strong take what they want. The weak are destroyed. This is the law of the galaxy." The transmission ended. Morrison looked around the bridge. His crew was waiting for orders. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and surrounded, but they were still human. "Martinez, are our jump drives working?" Morrison asked. "Yes, sir, but all the jump points are blocked." "Then we make our own jump point," Morrison said. "Phillips, send a message to all human ships. Tell them to follow us. We're going home." "Sir, the Council ships will follow us," Martinez said. "Let them," Morrison said. "They want to see what humans can do when they're cornered. They're about to find out." The USS Vengeance began moving toward the edge of the system. The other human ships followed. Behind them, Council fleets started to pursue. Admiral, I'm getting reports from the colonies, Philip said. New Angeles has gone dark. Haven Station is not responding. The mining facility on Kepler 442 be sent a final transmission before they were destroyed. Morrison closed his eyes. Thousands of humans were dead or dying, men, women, and children who had trusted the Council. Families who had built new lives on distant worlds. All of them betrayed. Sir, incoming message from Mars Defense Platform. Phillips said. Lieutenant Commander Ben Phillips appeared on the screen. He was not related to the communication officer, but they shared the same last name. He was stationed at Mars, guarding the approaches to Earth. Admiral, we have massive Council fleets approaching the Sol system, he said. I count over 300 ships. Zephyrian dreadnoughts, Corvani battlecruisers, and Nexus carriers? They'll reach Earth in 6 hours. Morrison felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Earth was about to be attacked by the most powerful military force in the galaxy. The homeworld of humanity was going to be destroyed. Commander, what are Earth's defenses? Morrison asked. We have 43 ships in orbit, Phillips said. The Luna base has some defensive platforms. But sir, we're outnumbered 10 to 1. The Council has been studying our defenses for 30 years. They know exactly how to beat us. Not everything, Morrison said. Phillips, send a message to Dr. Elizabeth Ford. Tell her it's time. Time for what, sir? Time to show the Council what humans can really do. On Earth, President Brooks was meeting with her military advisors. The situation was desperate. Every human colony was under attack. The Council fleets were approaching Earth. In a few hours, the war would be over. Madam President, we have a choice, General Stevens said. We can surrender and hope the Council will spare some of our people. Or we can fight and probably die. What would you do, General? I would fight, Stevens said. Humans have never given up. We faced extinction before and survived. Maybe we can do it again. Dr. Ford entered the room. She was carrying a briefcase. Madam President, I have a proposal. We have weapons the Council doesn't know about. Weapons that could change everything. What kind of weapons? Weapons that can destroy entire fleets. Weapons that can make stars explode. Weapons that will make the Council wish they had never heard of Earth. President Brooks looked at her advisors. How many people will die? Millions, Dr. Ford said. But if we don't use them, billions will die. The Council plans to destroy every human world. They want to wipe us out completely. Then we fight, President Brooks said. We fight with everything we have. In space, the USS Vengeance reached the edge of the system. The Council fleets were still following. Morrison looked at the stars ahead. Earth was out there, waiting for him to come home. Admiral, we're ready to jump, Martinez said. Do it, Morrison said. Take us home. The USS Vengeance disappeared into hyperspace. Behind them, the Council fleets followed. The trap had been sprung, but the war was just beginning. The Council thought they had won, but they had made one mistake. They had made humans angry. And angry humans were the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. The Council fleets arrived at Earth expecting an easy victory. Supreme Commander Vex sat in his command chair aboard the massive dreadnought destroyer of worlds. He looked at the tactical display showing Earth's defenses. 43 human ships, and a few defensive platforms around the moon. It would be over in minutes. Begin the attack, Vex ordered. Destroy all human ships first, then bombard the planet. Leave no survivors. But as the Council ships moved into attack position, something unexpected happened. The space around Earth began to shimmer. Dozens of ships appeared from nowhere as if they had been invisible. They were sleek and black, unlike any human vessel the Council had ever seen. What are those ships? Asked Chancellor Crix of the Corvani Republic. Unknown design, replied the censor officer. They don't match any human technology in our database. Commander Sarah Blake sat in the captain's chair. Of the USS Phantom? Her ship was one of 20 stealth vessels that had been hidden around Earth for the past 10 years. The Council had studied human technology for 30 years, but they had never seen these ships. All stealth ships, this is Commander Blake, she said into her communicator. Begin Phase 1. Target their supply ships first. The black ships moved. Through space like ghosts. They had no heat signature, no energy readings, and no visible weapons. The Council sensors could not track them. But they were there, and they were deadly. The first Council supply ship exploded without warning. Then another, and another. Within minutes, a dozen support vessels were destroyed. The Council fleet was under attack, but they could not see their attackers. "Where are they?" shouted Vex. "How are they doing this?" Dr. Elizabeth Ford stood in her underground laboratory in Colorado. She was watching the battle through satellite feeds. Around her, dozens of scientists worked at computer stations. They had been preparing for this day for 20 years. "Activate the quantum disruptors," she ordered. In space, invisible beams of energy struck the Council ships. The weapons were designed to disrupt the quantum fields that held alien technology together. Council ships began to lose power. Their shields flickered and died. Their weapons stopped working. "Sir, all systems are failing," reported the engineering officer on Vex's ship. "Something is interfering with our quantum cores." Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Vengeance as it dropped out of hyperspace near Earth. He saw the battle raging around his homeworld. Council ships were dying, but they were fighting back with everything they had. "Martinez, take us into the fight," he ordered. "Yes, sir," Captain Lisa Martinez replied. "All weapons, target the nearest Council ship." The USS Vengeance opened fire with weapons the Council had never seen before. Antimatter torpedoes streaked across space, each one carrying enough power to destroy a city. They struck Council ships and tore through their hulls like paper. Captain Ryan Murphy commanded the Third Fleet as it arrived from the outer colonies. His ships were damaged from the earlier battles, but they were still fighting. "All ships, use the new tactics. Hit them fast and run. Don't let them lock onto you." The human ships moved in ways the Council had never seen. They appeared, fired, and disappeared before the aliens could respond. It was like fighting shadows. Colonel Jennifer Stone was on the surface of New Angeles, the human colony that the Council thought they had destroyed. But the colony was still there, hidden underground. Her special forces had been preparing for this moment. "All teams, begin sabotage operations," she ordered. "Every Council ship that lands, we destroy. Every supply depot we blow up. Make them pay for every meter of ground." The Council had expected to face human armies in open battle. Instead, they found themselves fighting ghosts. Human soldiers appeared from nowhere, destroyed Council equipment, and vanished back into the shadows. High Counselor Neth of the Nexus Empire watched the battle from his flagship. His forces were losing ships faster than they could count. "This is impossible. Our intelligence said humans were primitive." "The intelligence was wrong," said his tactical officer. "These weapons are more advanced than anything in our database. They're using technology we don't understand." But the Council's greatest shock was yet to come. Dr. Ford had saved the best for last. Deep in space, near the edge of the solar system, something was happening to the sun. "Activate the stellar igniter," she ordered. The device was small, no bigger than a shuttle. It had been placed in orbit around the sun months ago, disguised as a scientific probe, but it was not a probe. It was a weapon that could make stars explode. The sun began to pulse with strange energy. Solar flares erupted from its surface, each one larger than Jupiter. The energy washed over the Council ships like a tidal wave. "Sir, we're detecting massive solar activity," reported the science officer on Vex's ship. "This is not natural." "How are they doing this?" Vex demanded. "They're controlling the sun," the officer said. "It's impossible, but they're doing it." The solar flares struck the Council fleets. Ships that had survived thousands of battles were destroyed in seconds. The aliens had armor that could stop any weapon, but they had no defense against the power of a star. Commander Blake's stealth ships continued their attacks. They moved through the dying Council fleets like sharks through wounded fish. Every shot was perfect. Every target was destroyed. "This is Commander Blake to all human forces," she said. The Council fleets are breaking apart. They're trying to retreat, but Admiral Morrison had other plans. No retreat. No surrender. They came here to destroy us. We finish this now. The USS Vengeance led the charge against the remaining Council ships. Human vessels that had been hiding throughout the solar system joined the battle. Ships emerged from behind asteroids, from the moons of Jupiter, from the rings of Saturn. The Council had thought they knew everything about human military strength. They had counted every ship, every weapon, every defensive platform, but they had been wrong. Earth had been building a secret fleet for 20 years. "Sir, we're getting reports from across the galaxy," said Lieutenant Ben Phillips. "Human colonies that were supposed to be destroyed are fighting back. They're using weapons the Council has never seen." Morrison smiled grimly. "The Council studied us for 30 years. They learned our weaknesses, but they never learned our greatest strength." "What's that, sir?" "We never give up. And we never forgive." The battle raged for hours. Council ships that had conquered half the galaxy were destroyed by human weapons they could not understand. The aliens had superior numbers, but humans had superior motivation. They were fighting for their homes, their families, their very existence. Supreme Commander Vex watched his fleet die around him. Half his ships were gone, the rest were damaged and fleeing. He had never seen anything like it. "Sir, we must retreat," his tactical officer said. "We cannot win this battle." "No," Vex said, "we cannot retreat. If we run, the other species will think we are weak. The Council will fall apart." "But sir, we're losing." "Then we die fighting," Vex said. "Signal all ships. Fight to the last. Show the humans what it means to face the Council." But the Council ships were already fleeing. Their commanders were not willing to die for Vex's pride. They had seen what human weapons could do. They had felt the power of a controlled star. They wanted no part of this war. Dr. Ford watched the tactical display in her laboratory. The Council fleets were in full retreat. Only a few dozen ships remained, and they were running for the edge of the solar system. "Phase 2 complete," she reported to President Brooks. "Council forces are retreating. Earth is safe. What about our colonies?" the President asked. "They're holding," Ford said. "The Council expected to destroy them quickly. But our people were ready." "Every colony has secret weapons and hidden defenses. The aliens bit off more than they can chew." Colonel Stone's voice came through the communication system. "This is Stone on New Angeles. Council ground forces are retreating. We've captured their commander. He's asking for mercy." "Tell him mercy is for people who don't try to commit genocide," Morrison said. The battle was over, but the war was just beginning. The Council had attacked Earth expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had found humanity's true strength. Humans had spent 30 years pretending to be weak. While building weapons that could destroy entire civilizations, the Council had betrayed humanity's trust. They had tried to wipe out the human race. Now they were learning what happened when you made humans angry. In the depths of space, the USS Phantom moved silently toward the retreating Council ships. Commander Blake had new orders: follow them home, learn where they come from, and prepare for the next phase of the war. The Council thought the battle was over. They were wrong. Humanity was just getting started. The war that was supposed to end in days had been going on for 3 months. Supreme Commander Vex sat in his damaged command center on the Council's capital world of Nexus Prime. Reports came in from across the galaxy, and each one was worse than the last. "Sir, we've lost contact with the Kepler sector," reported his intelligence officer. "All 15 Council bases have gone dark. What about the reinforcement fleets?" "Destroyed, sir. The humans hit them before they could reach their targets. They seem to know where our ships are going before we send them." Vex stared at the tactical display. Red marks showed where Council forces had been destroyed. There were hundreds of them. The humans were not just defending anymore. They were attacking. Captain Lisa Martinez stood on the bridge of the USS Vengeance as it approached the mining world of Corax 7. The planet had been captured by Council forces 2 months ago. Now it was time to take it back. Long-range sensors show 60 Council ships in orbit, reported Lieutenant Ben Phillips. Any sign of human prisoners? Martinez asked. Yes, ma'am. We're detecting life signs from the mining facilities. Looks like they're using our people as slaves. Martinez felt anger burning in her chest. The Council had not just attacked human worlds, they had enslaved the survivors. That was going to cost them. Signal the fleet, she ordered. We're going. Rules of engagement are simple. Any Council ship that doesn't surrender immediately gets destroyed. The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace around Korax 7. 50 ships appeared at once, surrounding the planet. The Council forces were caught completely off guard. Admiral Jake Morrison's voice came through the communications system. This is Admiral Morrison to all Council ships. You have 60 seconds to surrender. Any ship that fires on us will be destroyed. The Council commander on Korax 7 was a Corvani named General Fax. He had conquered a dozen worlds for the Council. He was not going to surrender to primitive humans. All ships attack, he ordered. Show these humans what real warriors can do. The Council ships opened fire, but their weapons barely scratched the human shields. The humans had upgraded their defenses using technology captured from destroyed Council vessels. But more importantly, they had learned to fight like humans. Captain Ryan Murphy commanded the attack wing. His ships moved in perfect formation, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. They struck the Council ships from 6 different directions. At once, target their engines first, Murphy ordered. We want prisoners. The Admiral has questions for them. The battle was over in 20 minutes. Half the Council ships were destroyed. The rest were disabled and drifting in space. General Fax's flagship was captured intact. On the planet's surface, Major Chris Anderson led the ground assault. His soldiers moved through the mining facilities like deadly shadows. They had trained for urban combat for years, but this was different. They were fighting to free their own people. Anderson to Martinez, he said into his radio. We've secured the main facility, 2,000 human prisoners, all alive. The Council guards are all dead or captured. Any resistance? The Corvani tried to fight. They learned that humans don't take prisoners when our people have been enslaved. Dr. Richard Kane was among the rescued prisoners. He had been captured at the Council station during the first attack. For 3 months, he had been forced to work in the alien laboratories. Now he was free, and he had information. Admiral Morrison. I need to speak with you immediately, Kane said. As soon as he was brought aboard the USS Vengeance, Morrison met with Kane in his private office. The scientist looked thin and tired, but his eyes were bright with intelligence. Admiral, I learned something important while I was captured, Kane said. The Council is not just one government. It's made up of 12 different species, each with their own military. They've been arguing about how to fight us. What kind of arguments? Some want to keep fighting. Others want to make peace. The Zephyrians and Corvani want to use their planet-killer weapons. But the Nexus Empire is afraid we'll retaliate by destroying their homeworlds, Morrison leaned forward. Planet-killer weapons? Massive bombs that can destroy entire worlds, Kane said. They've used them before on species that wouldn't surrender. But they're afraid to use them on us? Why? Because we've proven we can make stars explode. They think if they destroy Earth, we'll destroy all their home worlds. They're scared of us, Admiral. For the first time in their history, the Council is afraid, Morrison smiled grimly. Fear was a useful weapon. But he needed more than fear to win this war. Commander Sarah Blake's stealth ships had been operating behind enemy lines for months. They had destroyed supply convoys, sabotaged bases, and gathered intelligence. Now she had found something important. Admiral, this is Blake, she said over the secure communication channel. I've found the Council's main fleet base. It's in the Centauri system, hidden inside an asteroid field. How many ships? Over 300, sir. Dreadnoughts, carriers, and something new. Ships bigger than anything we've seen before. What are they doing there? Building something, sir. My sensors can't penetrate their shields, but there's massive energy readings. Whatever they're building, it's big. Morrison felt a chill run down his spine. The council was planning something. Something that required their entire remaining fleet. President Catherine Brooks was in the White House Situation Room when Morrison called. General Paul Stevens and Dr. Elizabeth Ford were with her. The war room walls were covered with maps showing human and council territories. "Madam President, we need to make a decision," Morrison said. "Our intelligence suggests the council is building a super weapon. We can continue fighting defensively or we can strike first. What would striking first involve?" Brooks asked. Dr. Ford stepped forward. "We would need to use the stellar igniters on a massive scale. We could destroy every council homeworld at the same time. It would end the war immediately." "How many civilians would die?" "Billions," Ford said quietly. "But if we don't act, they might destroy Earth. We know they have planet-killer weapons." General Stevens looked at the tactical displays. "The council started this war. They tried to commit genocide against our species. We have the right to defend ourselves." Brooks stared at the reports for a long time. The council had betrayed humanity's trust. They had tried to destroy every human world. They had enslaved human prisoners. But killing billions of innocent aliens was not something she could order lightly. "Is there another way?" she asked. Morrison's face appeared on the main screen. "Maybe, Madam President, we could target their military bases and government centers. Leave the civilian populations alone, but it would be risky. If we fail, they might use their planet killers on Earth. How long do we have to decide?" "Our spies report that the Council's superweapon will be ready in 2 weeks. After that, it might be too late." Colonel Jennifer Stone had been operating on captured Council worlds for months. Her Special Forces teams had become legendary among the aliens. They called her the Shadow because she appeared where least expected and struck without warning. "Colonel Stone to Admiral Morrison," she said from the planet Corvani Prime. "I'm in position to sabotage their main weapons factory. But, sir, there are millions of civilians here. If I destroy the factory, a lot of innocent people will die." Morrison felt the weight of command on his shoulders. Every decision meant life or death for thousands of people. The Council had started this war, but humans would have to decide how it ended. "Stone, what's your assessment of the factory?" "It's where they build their planet-killer bombs, sir. If we destroy it, they can't make any more, but the explosion will level half the city." Morrison closed his eyes. War was never clean. Innocent people always died. But if the Council completed their superweapon, Earth might die. "Do it," he ordered. "Destroy the factory." The explosion lit up the night sky on Corvani Prime. The weapons factory was completely destroyed. But so were 6 city blocks filled with alien families. Stone had saved Earth, but at a terrible cost. The war was changing humanity. They had started as victims, fighting for survival. Now they were becoming something else. Something the galaxy had never seen before. They were becoming the thing that other species feared, and the Council was about to learn that when humans were pushed too far, they pushed back twice as hard. 2 years had passed since the Council destroyed Earth cities and killed 1 billion humans. Admiral Sarah Bennett stood on the bridge of her warship, the U's Vengeance. She watched through the window as her fleet moved through space toward the enemy's homeworld. 4,000 human ships flew together in perfect formation. Each ship was built for one thing only: war. They carried no families, no scientists, no diplomats, only soldiers and weapons. The humans had learned their lesson. "Well, Admiral," said Lieutenant Commander Alex Murphy, "we can see their defenses now." "They have thousands of ships waiting for us," Sarah nodded. The Council had spent 2 years getting ready for this fight. They had built new weapons and stronger shields. They had called in fleets from every corner of the galaxy. It would not be enough. The human fleet that approached the Zentari home system was different from anything the galaxy had ever seen. These were not the same humans who had once dreamed of exploring the stars and making friends with alien races. These humans had been forged in the fire of betrayal and genocide. "Sir, we are getting a message from the planet," Murphy reported. "It's Admiral Stone." The screen lit up with the face of Earth's senior military officer. He was standing in what looked like a prison cell. His uniform was torn and dirty, but his eyes still burned with anger. "Admiral Bennett," Stone said, "I want you to know that Ambassador Carter and the rest of the diplomatic team were killed 6 months ago. The Council said it was mercy. They said they were saving us from watching what they planned to do to our colonies." Sarah's hands tightened into fists. The Council had murdered Earth's peacemakers. They had killed the very people who had come to them hoping for friendship. "They are sending us terms," the communications officer said. "They want us to leave. They say they will spare our colonies if we go away." Sarah's laugh was cold and bitter. "Tell them we have our own terms." The human fleet moved forward like a storm of death. The humans did not target only military ships. They attacked everything. Civilian transports, trading posts, farming worlds. They had learned the Council's lesson too well. The planet killer missiles launched first. 12 massive weapons that could crack a world like an egg. The Council's defenses stopped most of them, but one got through. A moon-sized fortress, home to billions of Zentari civilians, simply vanished in a ball of fire. "You are monsters." Counselor Vextara's voice came over the radio. "You are destroying everything we built over thousands of years." "No," Sarah replied, her voice carrying the weight of 1 billion human dead. "We are doing what you taught us to do. We are making sure that threats to our people do not survive." The battle went on for days. The Council had better technology, but the humans had something else. They had nothing left to lose. Human ships crashed into Council vessels, exploding their engines to take out enemy defenses. Human soldiers fought their way through alien corridors, planting bombs in reactor cores and life support systems. Captain Ryan Kelly commanded one of the assault ships. His job was to land on Council stations and destroy them from the inside. His men were not soldiers anymore. They were killers, trained to show no mercy. "Remember," Kelly told his troops as they prepared to board an enemy station, "they came to our world to murder our families. They wanted to turn us into slaves. Show them what happens when you try to destroy humanity." The human boarding parties moved through the station like a plague. They killed everyone they found. Men, women, children. It did not matter. The Council had taught them that mercy was weakness. On the planet below, the Council's leaders watched their great fleet being destroyed. Their orbital defenses were falling one by one. Their ships were burning in space. The humans fought like demons, caring nothing for their own lives as long as they could hurt the enemy. "We must surrender," said one of the Council members. "We cannot win this fight." "Surrender to what?" Vextara replied. "Look at them. They are not the same species we invited to join us. They have become something else, something terrible." She was right. The humans had changed. The betrayal had broken something inside them. They no longer fought for peace or justice. They fought for revenge. Admiral Bennett watched as the last of the Council's orbital platforms exploded. The way to the planet was clear. She gave the order that would be remembered forever. "Begin planetary bombardment. Total saturation. Leave nothing alive." The human fleet turned their weapons on the world below. The bombardment was slow and careful. They wanted to destroy everything. Cities, farms, forests, oceans. The Council's homeworld, center of galactic civilization for 10,000 years, began to die. Admiral Stone's final message came from the surface of the burning planet. His prison guards had run away when the bombardment started. He and the other human prisoners were free, but there was nowhere to go. "The Council is broken," he reported. "Their fleet is gone. Their leaders are dead. But Sarah, what have we become?" Sarah looked out at the burning system. She saw the wreckage of thousands of ships. She saw the dying world that had once been home to billions of living beings. She saw the end of everything the Council had built. "We became what they made us," she said quietly. "We became the thing they were afraid of. We became the monsters they said we were." The war continued for another year. Human fleets hunted down the remaining Council forces throughout the galaxy. Some alien species gave up immediately, offering to serve humanity as the Council had once. demanded they serve. Others fought to the last ship, dying with weapons in their hands. The Kethter Empire tried to make a stand at their fortress world of Vega Prime. The humans arrived with 50 ships and a new weapon. A virus that ate through their biomechanical technology. The Kethter warriors, proud and ancient, watched helplessly as their ships fell apart around them. "Why?" the Kethter commander asked as human soldiers entered his bridge. "Why do you do this to us? We never harmed your people." "You supported the council," Captain Morrison replied. He had been freed from his prison and given command of a strike force. "You voted to destroy Earth. That is enough." The Kethter homeworld burned just like the others. The Christian collective tried to hide in the deep space between stars. They thought their ships were too small to find, their colonies too remote to matter. They were wrong. The humans had learned to be patient. They searched every asteroid, every moon, every space station. When they found the Christian refugees, they showed them the same mercy the Council had shown Earth. None. One by one, the great civilizations fell. The hegemony of worlds, the Stellar Federation, the unity of minds, all of them had supported the Council's decision to pacify humanity. All of them paid the price. When it was over, the galaxy was quiet. The ancient trade routes were empty. The great civilizations lay in ruins. And humanity, the species that had once reached for the stars with hope and wonder, ruled over the ashes of everything they had destroyed. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of a captured council ship as it moved through what had once been a thriving star system. The aliens who had built it were extinct now. Their crime had been supporting the council's decision to pacify humanity. Was it worth it? He asked Admiral Bennett over the communication link. She was quiet for a long moment, watching the radiation glow of dead worlds through the window. "They wanted to teach us our place in the universe," she finally said. "They succeeded. Our place is at the top, and we will kill anything that tries to change that." The humans had won. They had survived the Council's attempt at genocide and become the dominant species in the galaxy. But in saving humanity, they had lost their humanity. They had become exactly what the Council had said they were, a threat to galactic stability. The betrayal was complete. The Council had betrayed humanity's trust, and in return, humanity had betrayed everything they had once believed about themselves. In the end, there were no heroes, only survivors ruling over the ruins of a galaxy they had been forced to destroy. In order to save themselves, the stars still shone, but they shone on empty worlds and silent space. The great experiment of galactic civilization was over. In its place stood something new and terrible, an empire built on the ashes of trust, ruled by a species that had learned the hardest lesson of all. Sometimes, to survive, you have to become the monster.